Well, let me tell you about this big monument here in the square. This monument was dedicated to the soldiers that fought in the War of 1812. The monument is 52 feet high. It was designed by a French immigrant. His name was Maximilian Godfrey, and it was completed in 1819. It appears on our city seal, our city flag, and most of our city trucks. President John Quincy Adams gave us the nickname Monument City. Now, this building on the right here is our city courthouse. It's the third courthouse on this site. It's called the Clarence Mitchell Jr. Courthouse. It was named for him because he was the first African American to become a congressman from Baltimore. The screening on the building is to keep the pigeons from landing on the flat surfaces. Al Pacino made a movie in there back in 1970. It was called And Justice for All.
Outside Burger King.
Coming up on the right, we have Old St. Paul's Episcopal Church. There's been a church on this site since 1692. This building was built in 1854. It's got beautiful stained glass windows, a bell tower, and two beautiful pipe organs inside. Old St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Now up here in front of us, guys, we have the first architectural monument dedicated to George Washington in this country. This monument was built in 1829. It is 178 feet tall. It has 228 steps up to the doorway. It depicts George Washington turning in his resignation to the Continental Congress. The monument sits in a neighborhood known as Mount Vernon Place. Mount Vernon Place is where your very wealthy people used to live in the early 1800s. Coming up here on the left-hand side, take a look at this prayer garden. It was dedicated to Pope John Paul II, and it opened last fall. And over here, the big white church is the First Unitarian Church. The big church up to the right of the monument, that is the Mount Vernon Place Methodist Church. It's made of green serpentine marble with a red granite trim, and that church was completed in 1873. Mount Vernon Place is laid out in 4 parks, north, south, east, and west, and this is the South Park. On the left, you're going to see the Walters Art Museum. It runs the entire block. And up on the right corner, you're going to see the Peabody Conservatory of Music. That was the first conservatory of music in the United States. It opened in 1866, just after the Civil War. we have General Lafayette. He was in our Revolutionary Army, and he also was a friend of George Washington's. This neighborhood here is called Mount Vernon Place, and as I said, it's where all your very wealthy people used to live back in the 1800s. Just look at some of the beautiful architecture as we go through here.
Song I wrote, I want to sing it note for note.
All right, we're going to look at a couple of mansions here. The first mansion we're going to look at over is on the right-hand side. It has columns out front. Today it is the Mount Vernon Club, which is a ladies' club, but it used to belong to the Tiffany's of the Tiffany Glass Company. And over on our left-hand side, we have the most magnificent mansion. That brownstone there was owned by Robert Garrett. He was the owner of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. Today, it's owned by the Engineers Club of Baltimore. It has over 100 windows, 16 fireplaces, 3 dining areas,
wow,
and a full-size theater in the basement.
Holy heck.
I know where I want to live.
Look at the sculpture work above the windows and the doors on that mansion. There's a lot of history up in this neighborhood, and they don't give me enough time to tell you all about it, but this is called Mount Vernon Place.
Holy heck.
Every life we have some trouble. When you worry and make it go the wrong way.
Right-hand side, we have a mural on the wall called My Sister's Garden. That is a Catholic Charities project for homeless women. Over 100 homeless women helped draw that mural on the wall. Coming up on the right-hand side, we have the Enoch Pratt Library System. This is the main branch. There's about 20 branches throughout the city. This branch resembles a department store. It's got showroom windows and it's easy access from the street. Enoch Pratt was a wealthy merchant, and he left us a legacy of the library. Now, since you're all Catholic, you'll all be interested in the first Catholic cathedral over here. This is the Basilica of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin. It was built around 1807. The architect was Benjamin Latrobe.
No, I don't want him to move.
He also was the architect on our nation's capital. And over here on the right, we have the Catholic Archdiocese of Baltimore. All right, everybody hold on. We're going to hit a little rough spot in the road here.
Here we go. Get ready for the vibration.
Whoa!